It's no secret that Borderlands 3's main story is very poorly written and rather boring, and naturally a lot of people tend to think this extends out to the game's side content as well, but it just doesn't. Borderlands 3's best writing is in its side quests, but for some reason there are a lot of side quests that for one reason or another tend to get overlooked, even though they're more than deserving of attention. Hey Vault Hunters, I'm Constant Canadian, and these are the most overlooked side quests in Borderlands 3 that deserve your attention. If you enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel, and if you really enjoy it, consider joining the membership program. 99 cents a month gets you a shoutout at the end of my videos, as well as these cute emotes and awesome sub badges. And for $4.99 a month, you get all that, plus early access to most of my videos. Starting off the list, in no particular order, we have Rise and Grind. This mission is available pretty early on in the game story, and seems fairly simple. Get Lorelei a cup of coffee. In classic Borderlands fashion though, nothing is ever as easy as it seems. To get the coffee, you need to deal with a very apathetic barista bot, find and kill Core Daddy to get the coffee house turned on, and then acquire a coffee cup to finally fill with coffee, all while listening to Lorelei slowly succumb to her caffeine withdrawals. For completion of this quest, you get the unique Mr. Caffeine Shield, which realistically isn't too much to write home about. To be entirely objective here, there's almost no reason to play this mission aside from entertainment value, but I personally find Rise and Grind to be quite amusing every time I play through it, though that may be related to my own caffeine addiction in some way. Regardless, if you find that style of humor funny, it's definitely a worthwhile mission to pick up early on. Next on the list is Ratched Up. Atlas HQ is absolutely infested with ratches, and the janitor, Terry, who was supposed to deal with it, hasn't been seen in weeks. This quest tasks you with finding Terry so he can deal with the infestation. Turns out that Terry has a few secrets of his own though, as his janitor's closet has a hidden entrance to an old Atlas Skunkwork Labs, a lab that allows brain swapping. Terry actually used this lab to save his friend, Glenn, by swapping his brain with a ratch, and it's time for Glenn to return the favor, since, as it turns out, nobody's seen Terry recently because Terry died shortly after saving Glenn. This quest features talking ratches, an interesting antagonist, and funny character dialogue. The reward for completing Ratched Up is the Peacemonger, which is not very great, but this quest is funny and interesting enough to be worth the playthrough, especially to hear each Vault Hunter's unique dialogue options throughout. Rumble in the Jungle is a side quest that starts off seeming like a simple Echo Collection quest, which then turns into an all-out war between uplifted Ravagers and Jabbers. This quest starts when you find an Echolog in an optional area of Voracious Canopy, which highlights moments before disaster at the nearby research center. Upon traversing to the research center, you find Failurebot, who tasks you with finding even more Echologs documenting the end of this now vacant research center. As it turns out, the research center's occupants were taken down by their own hubris. The specific project being worked on at the time was experimenting with uplifting the various species of fauna in the area, attempting to teach the Jabbers speech, who then turn around to form a tribe and betray the scientists. Naturally, the scientists didn't learn their lesson the first time and tried to fight fire with fire, giving the Saurians cybernetic enhancements to fight on their behalf. As we all saw coming a kilometer away, the Saurians became bigger than their creators and betrayed them too. However, the Jabber King is appalled by the notion of an uplifted Saurian, and believes they're too stupid to be as smart as them, so we issue a combat challenge on their behalf. Overall, this mission is just very well paced and takes itself just seriously enough. Plus, completing this quest also gives you the ability to farm King Bobo, who drops the Head Explosion and the Laser Sploder. Holy Spirits as a mission is pretty basic. However, the character dialogue in it, combined with the rewards for doing it, elevate this quest to a much higher level. On the corner of Athenas, Brother Mendel needs help saving the planet's distillery from a ratch infestation. This mission tasks you with going into the distillery, clearing out the ratches, and killing the ratch broodmother to stop any more from being born. Holy Spirits is a fairly short quest, only revolving around one smaller area of Athenas. But Brother Mendel is an interesting and funny character who seems far too thrilled at the idea of ratches dying for a monk. For your efforts, this quest rewards you with XP, cash, and the unique shield Mendel's Multivitamin that increases your health by 50% and grants 5% health regen while full. Additionally, this quest grants you a basic white chest at the end. If you complete the optional objective, however, and harvest 5 livers from the intoxicated ratch in the area for Brother Mendel to use in his spirits, you're rewarded with additional cash as well as a red chest, which is incredibly useful at the stage of the game you'll be doing this quest on. Next on the list is wildlife conservation. In this quest, Brick needs your help finding Talon, Mordecai's bird, who he lost while bird sitting. Throughout this quest, you follow Talon through a mine in Conrad's Hold. Once again, the actual objectives of this quest are pretty straightforward. Simply find 5 sticks of dynamite, clear some creatures, and follow Talon. But that's not what makes this quest enjoyable. While you're following Talon through the mine, you get to listen to Brick cover up his tracks and stall Mordecai finding out that Talon is missing. And it's just really funny the whole time. At the end of the quest, Talon makes their way back to Boomtown, where it's revealed not only that Talon has laid an egg and has been disappearing to build a nest, but also that Mordecai has known the entire time. For completing the quest, Mordecai gives you a little bit of cash, XP, and the unique sniper rifle, the Huntress. A scopeless sniper rifle that deals 175% extra damage to creature enemies. Fire in the Sky is a quest that is very easy to miss, as it requires the completion of every other quest given by Grouse and Sparrow, the bots in Typhon de Leon's cave. But this mission is nearly essential in my opinion, as it gives some much needed closure for the lore of Typhon, Sparrow, and Grouse. Typhon de Leon's death was very rushed, and aside from Tanis and Ava, was almost unacknowledged, similarly to Maya's death. Fire in the Sky is a tribute to Typhon de Leon. In this quest, Grouse and Sparrow send you to one of Typhon's other campsites to clear out the Maliwan troops, find his lost echoes, and launch them in a rocket into the sky. Not only is this quest a massively touching, much needed tribute to Typhon, but during this quest, Grouse, the grumpier of the two bots, slowly starts to lighten up and becomes a lot less serious. Fire in the Sky also has one of the cooler boss fights in the game, but unfortunately it doesn't respawn. So this super cool boss is a one-time kill. For completing this quest, you are rewarded with cash, XP, and Iridium. Coming up next is Swamp Bro. This quest is absolutely hilarious. In Swamp Bro, you hang out with Chad, a character who can only be described as bro. Chad is a stuntman at heart, for better or for worse. In this case, it ends up being for worse. Throughout this quest, Chad has you acquire grog guts so he can cover himself with them to attract some Saurians to box. After that, Chad has you equip a massive elevator with makeshift rocket boosters to get an awesome jump. Despite your character's many warnings, Chad attempts the jump and never comes back down. Chad is an absolutely hilarious character, and for this quest you're rewarded cash, XP, and the Hanging Chad, a unique pistol that doesn't consume ammo and theoretically will never overheat. Life of the Party is another quest that is just incredibly well written with interesting characters. This quest starts off with Mordecai asking you to collect some flowers for his Vault Hunter apprentice Grace, whose birthday is today as well. After collecting the flowers, you meet Mordecai at Grace's house, only to find out that she had actually passed away while Mordecai was off on Eden 6 during the story mission. Grace's family is still celebrating her birthday in memoriam of her though, and during the party you're given the opportunity to beat some of Grace's old records for cake eating, grenade throwing, and rack shooting. Whether or not you choose to break her records throughout the quest has no effect on the outcome. It simply changes Hersham's tone throughout. This quest is another very heartfelt one, and actually made it into my top 5 best quests in Borderlands 3. For completing Life of the Party, you're rewarded cash, XP, and the amazing Grace pistol, which is a pretty decent Jacob's pistol that is held back by being unanointable. At the end of the quest, you also get to smash a loot pinata, which is guaranteed to have the unique Exterminator grenade that does double damage to Varkids and Spatterants. Up next is Baby Dancer. Baby Dancer is yet another incredibly easy to miss quest, as not only does it require you to do every single Claptrap mission and collect every single Claptrap part throughout the game's maps, even if you do meet all the requirements, there's still a chance for a random bug to happen and not even allow you to get this quest. With that out of the way, Baby Dancer is the final Clapless mission in the game. In this quest, you travel with Claptrap to Devil's Razor to visit the contractee, Baby. A very long time has passed since she put in the request though, and Baby now requires a wheelchair and can't dance anymore, which is what she hired us to do. This is the one place where Claptrap's personality actually comes in handy, as he teaches Baby how to dance while you're stuck on wheels. This mission is super cool and incredibly wholesome, and for completing it, you're rewarded with cash, XP, and the Love Machine SMG, which fires 2 bullets that project a heart-shaped pattern. The honorable mention for this list is Malevolent Practice. This quest has you investigate the gang that Hammerlock joined while in prison. When you get to the anvil, it is almost immediately apparent that everyone in the gang is dead or gone. During this quest, you also find echo logs that document Troy's initial experiments in anointing enemies. and that he primarily used members of Hammerlock's gang as test subjects. This quest does a very good job of intensifying our hatred for Troy Calypso, and is also needed to farm the Serve Boss Execute, the Companion, the Sickle, the Bear Trooper, the Ogre, and the Infinity. Childhood's End is another absolute masterpiece of storytelling in this game. This is another quest that made it into my top 5 quest video. This quest at first seems rather boring and unassuming, as you're just tasked with helping Tannis fix the water purifier in Devil's Razor. However, it very quickly turns into a heart-wrenching quest that will make pretty much anybody who played Borderlands 2 shed a tear at the very least. Every time I do this mission, I'm fighting back tears. Childhood's End is always the quest I bring up whenever somebody tries to claim that Borderlands 3 has no good side quests. I'm trying to not spoil too much about this quest, as it really should be experienced firsthand for the first time. For completing this quest, you're granted the unique shield, the Loop of Angel, which when depleted increases your action skill cooldown rate by 100%. If for some reason you're only going to play one side quest in Borderlands 3, make it this side quest. Needless to say, Borderlands 3 does have a bunch of really well written, fun, and entertaining side quests. I'm curious to know which Borderlands 3 side quest is your favorite. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching, have a fantastic day.